A modern-day Churchill. We need our own Geert Wilders here in America. What do you think? Yeah, me too. Our next speaker could not be here in person, but he so strongly believes in the cause of freedom that he comes to us via video link. He's a man who is unafraid to stand for principles that the political and media elites would prefer to sweep under the rug. Here is a man who went into the world's foremost hotbed of anti-American, anti-freedom sentiment, the United Nations, boo, that collective of the negation of humanity, and stood fearlessly and unflinchingly for justice and human dignity. Here is a man who faced down accomplished practitioners of violent intimidation, enemies of freedom, apologists for authoritarianism and totalitarianism, and stealth jihadists. Here is the rarest of things in the public square today, a genuine, sincere, articulate, and accomplished lover of America. An American who is proud, a proud American, and who knows why America is the greatest country on earth. And he's unafraid to say so, even in the most anti-American place, you know, with the most anti-American haters on the planet. My fellow Americans, and all those who appreciate and admire his courage, I bring to you, who I hope may very well be the next President of the United States, Ambassador John Bolton.
It's a great pleasure to be with you today, even if only remotely. Obviously, our main purpose is to pay tribute to the victims of the 9/11 attacks and their families. Like all of you, I remember that day vividly. I was in the State Department in meetings when we heard of the attacks here in New York City. I went down to my office on the 7th floor of the State Department to try and find out what had happened, and somebody rushed in and said an airplane has crashed into the Pentagon. I looked out my window. I could see the flames and the smoke coming from the Pentagon, and it was a very vivid manifestation that America was under attack. I think we all also remember the passengers and crew of United Flight 93, who in many respects were the only opportunity the victims of 9/11 had to counterattack. They didn't need the government to tell them what to do. They didn't need politicians to tell them what to do. They didn't need opinion leaders to tell them what to do. They knew what to do, and they did the right thing there on United Flight 93. And I think as we remember and honor the victims and the families of the 9/11 tragedy, it's with that in mind that we have to view the proposal to build the Ground Zero Mosque. It's a very strange enterprise that says we want to increase religious tolerance and understanding. And if you don't agree with that, we're going to increase religious tolerance and understanding whether you like it or not. That's really a very unappealing face to put on the supposed effort behind the mosque, and as well to look at the proponents of the mosque and what they've said. Imam Rauf, who has said that the United States was an accessory to 9/11, that Osama bin Laden was made in the USA, that the United States has more blood on its hands than the terrorists themselves. And the Imam has refused to call Hamas a terrorist organization. I think that all of this demonstrates that people are entirely justified in raising questions what the true motives of the mosque's proponents are. And if there's an effort really at bottom with people of goodwill to increase religious tolerance and understanding, then a way can be found to do that that doesn't cause the emotional pain that this particular location proposed for the mosque has aroused. Now, beyond that, let's come to the peripatetic Imam Rauf himself, who, in the midst of this extraordinary crisis over his efforts, can't seem to find time in his busy schedule to come back to the United States to address the critics and answer in a transparent way exactly what his motives are. He is, in fact, traveling the world at our expense as a paid spokesman for the State Department sent around the world to explain our country to other people, notwithstanding the radical and extreme statements that he's made. So even beyond the mosque controversy, even if a new location can be found, I think we need to have a serious conversation about what it is at the State Department that has motivated them to finance the imam and perhaps others like him. You know, Margaret Thatcher was once said to have commented that in her cabinet, looking at the ministries of the British cabinet, that the Agriculture Ministry was there for the farmers, and the Labor Ministry was there for the trade unions, and the Foreign Office was there to represent the foreigners. We could ask what the thinking of the State Department is that has allowed this kind of program to go forward. I think it's a plus for Americans to be sent overseas to show other nations our diversity, that we have a functioning democracy. But that doesn't mean that our tax dollars should be subsidizing radicals making the kinds of statements that Imam Rauf has made. So there are a lot of issues that have been raised by this. I think it's an important subject of public debate. I'm honored to have been allowed to take part in it, and I think now we want to return to the theme that has brought everybody together today, to remember the victims of 9/11 and their families, and to remember our brave men and women in the American military who have protected us before and after 9/11, thinking of the sacrifices they have made and that their families have made as well. Thank you very much.